Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is in the world, wherever you are as you're watching this. Welcome to Books, Brews and Other Awesomeness. So in today's video, I am going to give you an overview of what I read during August and what I thought of it. So if you are interested in finding out, please make yourself a cuppa, kick back and enjoy. Alright, I read 7 books. Well, I say read, one of them was listening, but I finished 7 books during August. They were, first of all, audiobooks. I listened through Jim Butcher's Proven Guilty, which is book 8 of the Dresden Files set. Now, I'm currently listening back through all of the Dresden Files books before I read Peace Talks, which came out in July. I had wanted to finish going back through all of them before Peace Talks came out. That ship has sailed. Ain't happening. So my plan now is to try and listen back through everything before Battleground comes out, which is, I think, book 16? Book 16 in November, and read Peace Talks and Battleground back to back. So it took me 4 months to get through Proven Guilty. I'm hoping the next one, White Knight, is going to take me considerably less time. General thoughts on it. I loved it. I love the Dresden Files. I'm a complete Harry Dresden addict. I love James Master's narration of it. In fact, given my choice, I think I prefer listening now to reading the books. Although I've read them all previously except for Skin Game in either ebook or physical book format. Skin Game I only listened through, and there was some reveals towards the end of Skin Game that I did not see coming. I think some people did, I didn't. And I actually want to go back to the beginning now and read all of the interactions with a certain character with the knowledge that I have after getting to the end of the book. But all the others I have read, basically in print or in ebook format. I gave this one a 4-star. I love the snark. I love the relationships in the Dresden Files. I love the sense of found family with all of Harry's friends. And I like the fact that while Harry himself is a flawed character, the other characters do not make excuses for him. They slap him when necessary. And the fact that he can rely on them not only to be there and to support him when he needs it, but also to tell him when he's being an idiot. I love that. So yeah, that was a 4-star read for me. Second book that I read was, well, actually it was 2 of them. There were 2 graphic novels, the Ms. Marvel volumes 2 and 3, which I'm pretty sure was recommended on one of Jean Bookish Thoughts videos. She mentioned that she doesn't, sorry, my cat is demanding some attention. Come and be in this is Chiana. So she will probably come and want to be in the videos that I record sometimes. So Ms. Marvel. I am a Marvelverse fan. I love the Avengers. I love all the MCU movies. I read way more fanfic than is good for me. And Jean from Jean Bookish Thoughts mentioned these Ms. Marvel comics. And the thing that is different about Ms. Marvel is that she is a young teenage Muslim woman / girl. It's an own voices written superhero graphic novel. So you really do get a sense of what Kamala is dealing with growing up as a Muslim teenager in a Western American city. Yeah, the stories deal with identity, they deal with contribution, they deal with being a young person in a really broken down society. And there's just something really enjoyable about the way that Kamala navigates all of the challenges in front of her. So yeah, I read the first one based on Jean's recommendation. Loved it, loved the snarkiness, loved the humour, and loved the messages. Hi, Tiana. Do you want to come up again? Nope. Okay. Love the messages and just plan to read through the whole lot, which I am getting from my library. So that was volumes 2 and 3, and I gave them 4 stars each. The next book was Cold Wicked Lies by Toni Anderson. And Toni Anderson is a romantic suspense author that I've been reading for probably 2 years now. What I love about her books usually is that her characters are complex. Her female characters have agency, they are smart, they are very, very rarely conveniently stupid for plot reasons. They have goals and ambitions that go beyond whatever the main romance thread is. And her guys tend to be, they're action heroes, but they are also complex human beings, and they are respectful in their dealings with women. They are not alpha cavemen. They are not stupidly jealous and all, you know, massively dominant because it's great for the book. I have no issues with kink in my books, but I like it to be actual kink rather than just borderline abuse from the male character. So most of the time, that is what her characters are. However, Cold Wicked Lies I found was a bit of a letdown from what I normally expect from her. It wasn't that either of the things that are usually true aren't for her characters. It's not that her main lead doesn't have her own ambitions or isn't competent and doesn't have agency. She does. And it's not that the guy doesn't have all the things that are normally important to me in her books, because he does. But the two of them bicker like high school kids. And it really bugs me that these two allegedly professional people, for the first half of the book, spend so much time just bickering. It's like, this would annoy me in a YA book, but in a professional alphabet soup agency, I think they're both FBI from memory. The female lead, whose name I've now forgotten, I should really check that out. I think she's behavioural analysis unit and he's hostage response. Yeah, either way, I think they're both FBI, but they do not act like adult professional people. And so I only rated Cold Wicked Lies 3-star, where I normally rate Toni Anderson's 4 to 5-star. Fourth book, fifth if you count the Ms. Marvelous 2, was a book called Honour Among Thieves, which I had never heard of before. It is by Rachel Kane, whose urban fantasy I have loved for a long time, and Anna Guerre, whose books I have followed. I've read her across so many different genres, and she never fails to deliver a good read. So seeing that they had a collaboration together, I had to try it. So it's a young adult sci-fi story, and the protagonist, Zara, is a thief who rips off the wrong person and ends up running for her life. She is your standard teenage girl with authority issues, but we find out more and more as we go through the book about where those issues come from. And she lives in a world where, just as humanity was about to effectively blow itself up, a race of aliens called the Leviathans appeared, and they are effectively a race of sentient ships. If you've ever seen Farscape, think Moya. They are very much like Moya. And every year the Leviathans choose a certain number of people on Earth to be what they call honors. And this means they get to jet around the galaxy for a year with the Leviathan. Some of them are invited to go on a journey after this. Nobody knows what this journey involves, and none of the people who've gone on the journey have ever come back. But it's still considered the greatest honor possible. So Zara is chosen to be an honor, and it's basically her story. Now, this book combines some of my favourite things in terms of snarky banter, which I always love, found family, again, which I love, and just this idea of sentient ships, with ships that actually have a personality. I really enjoyed this one. So I rated it 4 stars. It wasn't quite a 5-star read for me. I do occasionally rate books 5 stars, but this didn't quite make it. But I think as the series progresses, it's going to get up into 5-star rating, definitely. Book 5 was a non-fiction book that I read for work. It's called Content Everywhere. I mentioned in my intro video that I'm a freelance editor. Sometimes I edit books, but I also edit online content. Sometimes I write it as well. And this is the book I read was called Content Everywhere by, and I'm probably going to mispronounce this massively, but it looks like Sarah Berchter Watje. I'm going to put a link down in the show notes, so if you're curious about that. But it is a pretty specialized book. It's about content modeling and content design. It was a good read. It's a little bit dated. It was written back in 2013, I think, possibly 2012. Editing Tanya, do you want to tell me when it was written? And some of the references in there are just, you kind of read them and think, bless. In particular, the optimism about what was going to happen with the US political system was just delightful and so sweet to look back on, but very sad also. It was a good read, and I'm looking forward to the next one that I'm reading in the genre, on the topic. I gave that one a 4-star. I find it a little bit hard to rate non-fiction, other than just in how readable the author makes it, and if I know anything about the topic, how well they cover it. In this case, I was coming to the topic completely new, so it's a little hard to rate the content. The writing voice was accessible, and it's a good kind of beginner's book, I think. So yeah, I gave it a 4-star. Book 5 I read when I had a real lurg. That's what we call a cold in this part of the world. I had a real cold that was bad enough that I ended up having to go out to get a COVID test for it. Negative, it was fine, but I had no brain for about a week. And so I wanted to read enjoyable, light fluff. And the next couple of books both really fit that for me. The next book was Timberwolf by Zoe Chant. And the best way I can describe this book is it's wholesome. It's a shapeshifter paranormal romance. The main female lead is a woman who is trying to restore an old family mansion that she's been left in a will. And the contractor that she had, at the beginning of the book, contractor that she employed to help her restore this and renovate this beautiful old building, skips out with her money. Enter our hero, who is a handyman and grew up in the town that our female lead now lives in. He's coming back, escaping a bad romance. He's basically ends up sleeping in her barn, helping her to renovate the place. Little does she know, he's a wolf shifter. Not a werewolf. We learn there is a big difference between the two. And it's really lovely seeing the relationship develop between these two. The word that most describes this for me is wholesome. It is a wholesome romance. But for all of that, the characters, they didn't grab me. There's nothing specifically wrong with them that I can point to, but I didn't resonate with them the way I have in several other shapeshifter romance books. So I gave it a 3-star, but it would have been a high 3-star. So book 6 was, or 7 with the 2 Marvel books, book 6 or 7 was The Pirate Queen's Curse by Isolde Holyoake. and this was just so much fun. Again, it was something I picked up because my brain wasn't working. I didn't want something that was going to be massively challenging, that would be hard to keep track of. And I actually know the author. I had been meaning to start it because I know her personally and I love reading her books and supporting her, but I hadn't got round to it. And I picked this one up, and just from the first page, the snark, the sass, it was just so much fun. So basically it covers Captain Maggie / Magpie Flint, who is a pirate queen who starts the book having been marooned by her first mate. Over the course of the book, she flirts with and almost ends up having a relationship with / having sex with, because for her it's like, meh, who needs relationships? 4 different guys. I don't think it counts as reverse harem, because I'm not sure if this counts as a spoiler. If you want to read the book and you don't want spoilers, I will put a timestamp when I stop talking about this book. But she never actually manages to complete the act with any of them. At least one of them reminds me of Captain / Commodore Norrington in Pirates of the Caribbean. One of them I think is based on Flint from Black Sails. But you know, it is so much fun. You just don't care. It's just wonderful. And the story of a cursed ship, finding out who cursed the ship and why, and how to remove the curse, is a big part of the storyline. So I gave that one 4 stars with the understanding that this is not high literature. Nobody pretends that it's high literature. It's just fun. So those were the 7 books / 8 books that I read in August. There was Ms. Marvel volumes 2 and 3, Cold Wicked Lies by Toni Anderson, Honor Among Thieves by Anna Giray and Rachel Kane, Content Everywhere by Sarah Burtje-Wachter, I think. I have no idea how she says her name. I'm going to try and find that out. Timberwolf by Zoe Chant, Pirate Queen's Curse by Isolde Holyoke, and Jim Butcher's Proven Guilty. So that was actually 8 books, if you count the 2 Ms. Marvel installments as 2 books. Of those, stats round up. 1 was non-fiction, 1 was science fiction, 1 was YA, and it was, in fact, the same one was YA science fiction. 1 was romantic suspense, 1 was urban fantasy, 1 was historical fantasy, and 2 were graphic novels. So it was a pretty good spread. All of those 8 books together totaled 2,289 pages. 1 of them was in audio format, 2 were graphic novels, and 4 were ebooks. In terms of my ratings, 4 of them were 4-star, 2 of them were 3-star. I tend to give middle ratings. Something has to be pretty bad. It basically has to be a did not finish for me to rate something as a 1 or 2-star. And as I mentioned earlier in the video, it has to be really, really good, something really special to get a 5-star. So there you have it. That was the 8 books that I read during August. I would love to hear from you. What have you read during August? What stood out for you as good and why? If something stood out for you as bad, I'd love to know that and know why as well, without being too mean about criticism. If there's something that stood out for you as a bad thing, let me know in the comments below. And if you have any thoughts, comments or suggestions, put those in the comments below as well. I'd love to answer them for you. I'd love to know anything you'd like to see on this channel. For the meantime though, I hope you're having a great day. If you enjoyed this content, please hit the like and the subscribe button below. And I will see you next time in a new video. Bye now.